Most of you are insufferable. And I hate to use that type of language, but we got to be honest and we got to be fair. You have made yourself a cancer to the American society. I'm talking about most women. And this transcends.
You're proving the point in real time. You are exactly why women don't want to deal with me. You, men like you.
In the conversation of why men aren't getting married in conjunction with the male loneliness epidemic, I think now more than ever, it's not about just being able to find and get someone and just dating. It's the after effect of dating and finally settling down and getting married. I think that's where y'all are losing men.
Instead of thinking, I need to show up for her in the way that she needs me to show up for her, you have told yourself that all I need to do is protect and provide. And 90% of y'all won't be able to do the provision. I will never fall for the propaganda. I will never fall for the propaganda. I will never fall for the propaganda. You guys can do it. You don't, y'all, your storyline is weak. It don't line up. It don't match up with what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've read. So men have always had a problem with marriage, even though men benefit immensely from marriage, right? I'm not talking about they've had a problem with marriage as far as how they treat the women in the marriage. Right now, I'm going to set that aside. They've always been apprehensive about marriage. Well, I won't say always. I'll say like in America, in the West or whatever, right? And the reason why is because even when women had far less rights than they do right now, they did have more rights than they once had, during like feudalism, let's say, during, the reign of Amanaktu or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like way back when, Nefertiti and shit, right? Like women have in the last 200 or 300 years, they've gotten a little bit more freedom. And with the industrialization of the globe and the capitalist need for women to work, women have gotten even more rights, right? Now, with that being said, men have become less and less interested in marriage. When men could get married to a woman and she could not leave him, men were all in on marriage. They were all in on marriage. Again, I'm not saying it made them treat the woman better. I'm just saying having a wife was like, yeah, of course, I would love to have a wife because I have this like woman here. I get to pass on my lineage. She's going to do all the stuff for me in the home. I have little to no responsibility to her. I could do whatever I want to do to her. Of course, there was the vast majority of men were signing up for that, right? A lot of men, but back then, most men didn't get married, by the way. That wasn't a thing. Anyway, so fast forward to now in the West, right, as they like to say, women have more freedom. Women can leave marriages. Women can voice their discomfort, can voice their displeasure, right? How they're displeased with the relationship. And men, that's what men don't like. That's what men don't like. That's the thing that's leading them away from marriage, right? Even though in 2025, men want to be married more than women do. But 90% of men would love marriage if we can go back to the year of our Lord, 906. That's my point.
In the conversation of why men aren't getting married in conjunction with the male loneliness epidemic, I think now more than ever, it's not about just being able to find and get someone and just dating. It's the after effect of dating and finally settling down and getting married. I think that's where y'all are losing men. I want you to take a look at this real quick.
It's just not worth it dealing with someone else every single day of your life. Every day. Every day you gotta deal with somebody. Is marriage even worth it? It's not. It's not. And I am a good man. I do. And that's not the point. The point is, it's like, you really do lose yourself. You lose your sense of individuality. Always having to consider their feelings. Always.
So that video is quite old now. It's a couple months old. And since that time, there have been more women making videos exactly like that, to where they got the man that they wanted, they got married, they had the kids, they had the life that they wanted, and then they realized that they no longer want that life. But it's like, okay, well, now I'm in too deep. What do I do? And that's just like regular people are doing that. You also have this whole Aisha Curry situation that's been going on where she is unsatisfied. She has more than anyone could ever ask for, and she is also feeling unsatisfied. She also feels like she has, you've lost yourself. You don't know who you are. You couldn't do this. You didn't have time for that. Whatever the case may be, but this is the life that you chose. So when the expectation is put upon men to provide the lives that these women that are coming on here and complaining about, to provide the lives that they want to live, the conversation is always men need to protect, provide, give women a sort of luxurious lifestyle. If the men that are doing that have wives that are coming on here and crying and bawling their eyes out and going through a crisis because they have the perfect life, what then is the incentive for men who aren't married to then go ahead and provide that life?
So the thing he just said was, we're always told we got to protect and provide. Again, it is the fault of men. And I blame men for failing men, obviously. Men are telling you that, sir. Men are telling you have to protect and provide. That's the number one and number two things you have to do. They don't know what protection looks like and they don't know what provision looks like, right? So protecting and providing are very important, but provision is a broad term and protection is also a broad term. But the way that men view protection is, I'll protect you from some mythological, niggathetical situation where an assailant breaks into our home at 5 o'clock in the morning and I get up and I play Rambo and I subdue the criminal. And provision looks like, as long as I pay all the bills, then I'm providing for you, right? But provision and protection are holistic ideas that embody and encompass a myriad of things, not just paying bills and not just protecting women from outside intruders and outside entities. And you guys don't know what it looks like because you won't listen to women. The reason why these men are turned off when they see a woman crying in the car when she's with a nice guy is because they don't understand the saying, a good man is still a man. They don't understand that. They don't understand the pressures and rigors that come with being a wife day in, day out, with or without children. They don't understand that. And they fear what's on the other side. That's what you're afraid of. You fear letting that woman down because you know you will. And the reason you know you will is because you refuse to listen. Even if you don't connect those two dots explicitly in your mind, you know that there is something going on. Your subconscious mind takes over and goes, okay, you need to avoid this. You need to avoid this because the way in which you want to show up for this woman is probably not going to be enough for her. Instead of thinking, I need to show up for her in the way that she needs me to show up for her, you have told yourself that all I need to do is protect and provide. And 90% of y'all won't be able to do the provisioning. But anyways, so I need to protect and provide. And you want to be able just to do those two things. Because when you think about it, those are the two easiest things to do in a relationship. I promise you they are. Because first and foremost, the vast majority of people, of men who provide, who make all the money, they don't make $150,000 a year. They don't make $210,000 a year. If you go look up the numbers of what it takes to live comfortably, which is the relative term, but live comfortably in America, state by state. In my state, it's like $290 some odd $1,000. In Massachusetts, it's $313,000. In Hawaii, it's $300,000. In Connecticut, it's $307,000. In Florida, it's $245,000 for a family of 4. So y'all not making that fucking money. You're making 80. And I'm being generous. You're making 90. And that's good money in Arkansas for one person. Maybe even for 2, but not for 4. So y'all not even good providers. Let's be for real. Most women who stay at home with their babies and don't work, I believe, are lower income people who it doesn't make any sense financially. It doesn't make sense fiscally for the woman to work, because if she goes to work, she'll make $4,000 a month gross. That means she'll bring home $2,500, maybe close to $3,000, let's say. Cool. But child care costs $2,200. So she gonna net $800. And at that point, you go, it's a wash. I would pay the extra $800 to have my wife stay at home. And what is the man making? $65,000, $70,000, $80,000. That's not enough money. So y'all not even providing. Let's be for real. That's what it is. That's why men are scared, because you know that you're not willing, not that you're not able to. You're not willing to show up for that woman in the ways in which that she needs you and she wants you to.
Because this is beyond just normal relationship issues. This is someone who is like oppressed by the perfection of the life that they have, and whether it's because they feel like they're missing out on something now, like they missed out on something in the past, or that they're going to miss out on something in the future because of now. What do you do with a person like that? What do you as a husband say to the wife that you have children with and built a life with, who she doesn't hate you, she doesn't have any issues, she says you are perfect? What then do you do with that person who is extremely unhappy in what you provided that they asked for? The only recourse then seems to be divorce, or allow your wife to live a life that is not conducive to the marriage and the life that you've already created, I guess, at the sacrifice of your own person.
It's so crazy listening to men act like the Aisha Currys of the world is crazy, and the woman that was in the video that he stitched, like, she's crazy. The difference between men and women is this. In this case, there are tons of men who can't be satisfied. There are tons of men. Most men can't be satisfied. Most men can't. The difference is those men don't express it in a healthy way. Aisha Curry is expressing it in a healthy way. That woman in that video expressed it in a healthy and in an honest way. The difference is men just go out and cheat. The difference is men abuse their wives. They take it out on their wives and they take it out on their children. That's the difference. They're in the house stomping up and down the stairs, mad because they didn't make as much money. They didn't go to the NBA. They didn't get to be fucking Jay-Z or whatever the case may be. They don't have an Insta baddie that they feel like they deserve. They just saw, they've been doom scrolling on Instagram for 30 minutes looking at a bunch of ass and titties jiggling, and they look at their wife and their wife don't look like that, and now they mad and they disgruntled and they feel like they got the short end of the stick. There are way more men who feel and act like that. And y'all trying to villainize the women for just having the open conversation. That's what I'm like. That's the thing that always blows my mind. I'm like, I know way more disgruntled men who are with women who are doing everything for that man, providing everything for that man that man could ever ask for. And he is failing her in every single way. Like, he's not perfect, right? Like, though these women are like, my husbands are perfect. He ain't perfect, but and she's still showing up for him. You know what I'm saying?
Personal happiness, so that she can be happy. And what sacrificed then is, I would imagine, the mental health of whoever that husband is, perhaps a certain sacrifice of the happiness for the children so that the mother can live the life that they want to live. But again, that you're de-incentivizing the entire end goal of these relationships that we're complaining about having or not having. That is a man investing his time, his blood, sweat, tears, his finances, all to create a life just for the other person to complain that it's too perfect. I don't think, mind you, I'm married. I'm not dealing with these kind of issues. However, I don't think that the next generation of men that is up at bat to propose to women, y'all are greatly de-incentivizing them, like, being completely honest. Even outside of marriage, y'all have made dating culture TikTok content. Y'all, every time you go on a date, y'all come on here and post a video about either how good it was, how bad it was. You have a camera up in the guy's face. Y'all don't even treat y'all don't even treat men that you're dating like real people at this point. This is all content and what you can show another person. It's kind of ridiculous.
Again, the ridiculousness of these statements, as if the men who are on dating apps aren't just shooting their shot at 100 women, saying the most crazy shit to women and just trying to fuck. But the women are the bad guys because they're exposing how disgusting the men are. Please.
But back to the original point, I think that we have shown that protection and provision is actually useless and meaningless in the long run, because someone can hate you because you're not doing those things. But when you give them those things, because there's nothing left to chase, there's that chaos isn't there in that person's lives, you can also end up in the same place as if you
not providing or protecting for your wife, I could tell. But like I've been saying, it's almost like they're not listening to women at all. And it's almost like he's right there at the point where he will not connect that dot, right? He keeps saying, oh, protection and provision isn't enough. Exactly. The women been telling you this whole time. That's not enough. That's not what we want. That's not, I mean, we want, like, that's bare minimum. We expect that, duh. But they're saying beyond that, how are you going to show up for them emotionally? And you guys never talk about that because you can't, because you're a fucking robot. Look at you. You look like a robot with glasses. It's crazy. And then we listen to this gibberish, right? As men, you listen to this bullshit. You listen to these lies being told, being spewed by these men, acting like, oh, men are decentivized for being in relationships with women. That is not the fucking case, y'all. This is why men we're not going to grow. This is why men will not grow, because like the last gentleman, these men out here are not telling men how they need to hold themselves accountable for their actions. Instead, they're pacifying them, they're pandering to them, and they're giving them terrible, terrible information.
Everyone has an opinion, so here's mine. There is a study showing that the fastest growing demographic in the United States is men who are single and childless with no intentions of dating. Hey ladies, can we talk for a minute? Come on in. Come on, talk to your big homie. First of all, the chickens have come home to roost, like we warned you was going to happen. We told you this was going to happen, ladies. You didn't believe us. You leaned into feminism. We told you we want y'all to be fit, feminine, friendly. This is what Kevin Samuels was trying to explain to you, ladies, but y'all just laughed at him. You made fun of him, and he warned you all. Look at all of these ladies right now. Cardi B, Vivica Fox, Claudia Jordan, Ayesha Curry. He warned all of these women. He warned all of you. And now you find...
Wait, those are all different types of women. Cardi B has a man and has a baby on the way, and is currently pregnant, technically. I mean, and is currently married, technically. Ayesha Curry is married. Vivica A. Fox says she's ready to be married, but she's not married. And Ebony K. Williams just had a baby through IVF, and she's happy and content. But out of the difference between men being single and there is the most dangerous group of people, right? Are the in this country are the men he is describing. The single men with no prospects, with no romantic desires. Those are the most dangerous men in America. You can go look it up. The women who are in the same position are not the most dangerous people in America. I wonder why. Wouldn't that prove that that women are actually choosing to be single? And I don't even like saying it like that, because women aren't really choosing to be single either. If you really think about it, what's happening is men's behaviors are so terrible that it is turning women off. So I don't look at it as women are choosing to be single so much as men are forcing women to be single by their behaviors. I think that that's a better way to look at it, because I want men to understand how much power we have when it comes to this. Right? How we can take ownership of this problem and we could turn it around, and everybody can come together as a collectively, right? So I don't want to even put this on the backs of women to be like, women are just choosing not to be with men. It's like, yeah, I mean, they are, but it is a reaction to men's behaviors. Whereas men aren't even choosing to be single, not in the same way and not for the same reason. What's happening is that women are systematically turning their backs on men because of the behaviors of men. And after a year, 3, 7 years of that, right, the men start to go, okay, well, I'm not interested in women either. I mean, fuck, I can't find nobody. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. And if those women turned around, reverse course, and started being interested in men again, the men would be interested in the women. But it doesn't, unless the men change their behaviors, the women aren't interested in the men, period.
Find yourself in a situation where winter has come home and you outside without a coat on. I would say that I feel sorry for you, but in all actuality, I don't. There are a few of you who maybe my heartstrings might, I guess, tug a little bit for, because some of you are actually really good women and have really good mindsets and can really add value into a man's life. But unfortunately for you, you won't get the opportunity to even prove that based on the current situation that we find ourselves in. And so for that, yeah, that does tug at my heartstrings a bit, because there are some good women out there. But most of you are insufferable bitches. And I hate to use that type of language, but we got to be honest and we got to be fair. You have made yourself a cancer to the American society. I'm talking about most women, and this transcends race. This transcends race. I'm not talking about all, but most women have made yourselves a cancer to be around. You're insufferable to be around in the workplace. You're insufferable to be around when we in public. You're insufferable to be around when we're in sporting events. You're insufferable to be around when we at the movie theater. You're insufferable to be around when we at the restaurant. I mean, it doesn't matter what setting that we find ourselves in. Most of you are insufferable. You have nothing to add. You don't bring any value. You can't really help a man's life out. You don't cook. You don't clean. You back talk. You got another man's kids. You bringing used, smelly box to the table. And now you out here talking about where's all the good men.
Do you see how he's talking about women? Why would a woman, and I think he talks like most men that I know, especially like bitter single men, even the married men. The idiot in the last video claimed to be married. He talked like this man too. So it's married men with women and it's single men without women. Y'all talk the same way about women, right? You lie on behalf of me in the same way as single men do, even if you're married. Why would a woman ever give us the time of day? She got to be a fucking fool. She got to be a fucking fool to give a man the time of day. This is how men are talking about them. And y'all, you're proving the point in real time. You are exactly why women don't want to deal with men. Men like you.
To be around. You're in, you don't cook, you don't clean, you back talk, you got another man's kids, you bringing used, smelly box to the table, and now you out here talking about where's all the good men. Staying the fuck away from you. I keep saying it. I don't know why. I gotta keep saying it, but I'm gonna say it until I'm blue in the face. Good men have checked out. Good men have realized that the juice is no longer worth the squeeze. It is not worth it anymore. You want to put yourself in a situation where you chasing some woman, and then, okay, let's say you get the woman, and then she got another man's kids. Okay, let's say she got another man's kids, and now the father ain't around, and she asking you to help. That's what these women be wanting, bro. Help. It's hard out here. You ever tried to raise a kid? You ever see what these kids go through, what it's like to be with them on a day-to-day basis? Bro, I was at Target last night sitting there watching a lady right in front of me, right? I'm in my car, and she's looking at me like I should help. But I'm like, yeah, it's no way. Like, I'm not helping. But
just making up stories. How weird do you have to be just to make up stories? Like, y'all are weird, bro.
She comes to the car. She got a cart full of shit. She has a 2-year-old, and she has like an infant on her, I guess, whatever that.
No woman has ever looked at me for help outside of my wife, like in public, like expected me to help them. I've helped plenty of people, women, men, whatever, but no woman has ever like looked at me and I felt like she wants me to help her. Like ever. Well, maybe that's because I just go help them. I don't even like wait, but yeah, no, I've never got that impression. Like she was looking at me like she wanted me to help her. What the fuck?
Carrier is called when they put the baby in the front. Whatever that carrier is, that's what she had, right? So I see her struggling trying to put the kids in the car. And I see her trying to put the kid in the car. I see her trying to do everything she can to try to not let the cart go rolling down the street. She got the infant, the baby is, the toddler is jumping out of the cart, and she is like losing it. And I'm sitting here watching this whole shit with popcorn just. And I'm just thinking to like my brothers, you would date a single woman and sign yourself up.
So you're the good man? Hey man, I just want to make sure that we're hearing this correctly. So you're the good man in this scenario, right? The man that is laughing at a woman struggling with kids. You're the good man. The good man is the man that refers to women as cancers and bitches. You're the good man. Like, are you listening to yourself?
For that shit, to do that for somebody else's kid, you's a wild motherfucker, dog. That's not my lane. I don't recommend that. That is nothing but a headache. That is nothing but a bill and time consumption. And it's a thankless job because they'll get older and treat you like a piece of shit. At the end of the day, fellas, keep doing what you're doing. Hold the line. Stay strong. Ladies, it's time to come on back. Come on back to the negotiating table and let's you're going to have to talk about things. You're going to have to do something or else it's going to be a cold winter for you. But that's just my opinion. Love to know yours. Drop a like, comment.
Yeah, man. My opinion is that women are making that every time y'all make one of these videos, 5,000 women drop out of the dating market. Every time they see a bald head man get on the internet lying and spitting on his phone and calling women bitches and cancers and shit, and every time a goofy ass man jump up here with his dumbass glasses on and he lying and talking about he married and he don't got no dog in the fight, but he always talking about the dogs in the fight. Like y'all, 5,000 to 10,000 women go, you know what? I'm good because he's supposed to be the good man. And they drop out. And then y'all just continue the cycle and try to gaslight the women into believing like, oh no, we just checking out. Hey man, you know, men just, hey, we got it together. It's a whole new generation of men. It's the same loser ass men, bro. Y'all the same losers. Loose tooth, crooked tooth, bad breath, bald-headed ass losers saying the same stupid shit about women every fucking day. It is crazy.